Now go. Try.
Test. Still echoes. None of us. I couldn't open the business milestone program. It says I'm not, which
better. So
test. That's better.
oh. I think for the process also I'll just make sure that okay. They are part of so my account that's a bird farm there, yes, she has. Oh, she's your accountant? Yeah. Wait, yeah, because I got her in-laws car. Oh, do you? Oh, well, put it. If you're good.
Okay, we're gonna start.
Yeah. You got that, check it out. Sorry, I turned your mic on there.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our economic development meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. We have no delegations, consent agenda. Now, do you want to speak to D1, Becky? Does anyone want to speak to any of the items that are on? Why don't we have an update about the broadband? I'd like to hear about that. Can you?
Sure, we can pull, so I guess that would be a motion that the agenda be adopted, including the consent items as circulated, except for the following item, which is D.1.5. Yes, please. Okay. An update is I've taken over for the mayor, contacting everyone at Rogers that we know of. So we have the contact information for the Director of Government Relations, and they continue not to return our calls or emails.
Well,
Is that Ryan or is that Cheryl that you're speaking to?
Speaking to Cheryl.
So we have a new contact.
Okay.
So Lori has the information. His name's Ryan. So we're not going to contact, because Cheryl wouldn't return any of my calls as well. So we do have a new contact, and he assures me they have some sort of new system where they don't even have to run wires anymore. It's done through satellite. So even if, because of our nature of our township and its rural nature, trees aren't a problem anymore, which was quite interesting. So I'm surprised we didn't know about that. Like we actually, did Ryan, I think he met with us here. He came to the office. We should have had you here. That was probably a month and a half ago, because Cheryl would not return my calls at all. So Ryan said, I'm your go-to person. And yeah, we actually had him go up Burnside to where we were having problems up here at what's that sub? There's 40 homes in there because they did not have service. I keep forgetting the name. Anyways, he was looking into it. He was having his staff do certain areas that we were struggling with.
So I'll get that contact information from the CAO. It could have been that one of my days, I was off a few days during the month last month. So I will follow up and we'll see if we can get a new connection, share that report with him, letting him know where we were having issues with internet, and see if they can start providing that to us, especially along the shore. I did have recently a business reach out who was informed that to get fiber to their door, it was going to be $70,000.
So if I may, Becky, that was a whole discussion that we had. This new technology that Rogers now has is via satellite, so that there's no longer a need to run the fiber. So I automatically asked, is it more expensive? And I was told, no, it's probably going to be cheaper. Well, I have that as well, but it works, but I can't, like, there isn't enough. I don't understand the terminology. Is it data that you like, gigs of whatever? Like I have a hub, but it works for the phone, but there's not enough yet for Netflix on TV. Go ahead, Heather.
You know where the Tamarack is?
Yes.
That cottage straight across from there?
Yes.
It was super high speed. And like they have the best of the best digital ever.
The tower is right there. The Rogers
That
Tower
might be
is right
why.
there, and that's
Oh.
probably what 7 kilometers
Yeah.
west of that. Alan.
I was just at a recent conference and found it very interesting that a few nations, including most African nations, have gone right to cellular. That there is, this infrastructure idea is so complicated, but the providers of cellular are cheap. Whereas in Canada, we have a problem with we only have a few cellular providers and the cost is very high. So I think that's another motion that municipalities should band together on is for us to adopt and move to more of a cellular based technology.
Such as? Who's this?
Just that we get our cellular data rates down.
Yeah.
And that it makes for you to be able to hotspot. So again, in a lot of countries around the world, they are not laying fiber down. And this issue with if you're trying to get high speed, it is all very expensive. They'll run the wires, and for years they've been running these programs where they're laying wires down. But to get that to a business is extremely expensive. It doesn't cover.
From what I can tell, the issues with the cellular currently is that they have data limitations. So if I was to say hotspot for internet access, I'm only going to have a limit of data each month. And then after that, if I go over my limit, I'm going to get charged a tremendous amount of money for any sort of overages. But if we sort of had those data limitations either increased or taken off altogether, a lot more people would be able to use those hubs as you speak of, or do a hotspot to their data provider. So
I think, Becky, for the next meeting we have, if you contact this Ryan, we can get some more information, because it was very interesting. The technology now, and it's advancing so quickly. whatever they're doing with this satellite, like it's unlimited.
Well,
See-
this is unlimited. I
Yeah.
have unlimited data.
Yeah, I think we all do, but to bring it to your home, see, the fiber now is something that they're not going to do anymore. And I'm not sure how they're doing it exactly through your phone, but when they get it to their homes, like how you get it to the homes. But this was interesting what Ryan brought forward and said, because of the nature of our township and mostly rural Ontario. But then you look at Rogers and what they're doing across all of Canada. They're saying now that they can get spots way up north through a satellite, the same way we do with our phones, right?
So for the next meeting, I will contact Ryan and ask him to come to the January meeting to present.
Jason, just like, do you know what, like, can you elaborate what's happening back with the fiber, like along Sparrow Lake Road? Because I haven't had a contact as to, and I know they are laying fiber, you're right.
So, to the best of my knowledge, most of the residential properties surrounding our area on Sparrow Lake Road have been contacted by a representative from Bell that would bring fiber lines to all of the homes in our area. None of the businesses have been contacted yet, and we have reached out several times. I oversee the cottages of Port Stanton, Torrey's Landing, Bayview Wildwood. We are all very impatiently waiting and anticipating that hopefully that we will get hooked up soon. Now, if you look at the hydro lines in our area, that's where they have run the fiber line has been all through the hydro lines, and you'll see kind of like little black boxes at the bottom of the hydro lines, and that is the hardware that was installed by a third party company, and that happened actually in the spring. This was in March and April. I noticed it actually when we were during that ice storm that we had. That we had a lot of people working on the hydro lines that were not hydro trucks. They were like fiber companies that were working on the line. So to the best of my knowledge, a lot of the residences have been contacted, and many of them are actually up and going with Bell. None of the businesses have been contacted yet, as far as I know.
You know, Becky, I know there was monies available, like we were given a pot of money and our township was to be done completely, but the information, again, to your point, trying to get a hold of someone from Rogers, like, and again, Ryan does know about it, but now we have Bell going up South Sparrow Lake Road. So I think we're all like, I don't know how it works, like who picks what and who's getting paid. And I'm not even sure if you can find out for us.
I'll also add to that across now this isn't in Severn, but across the Blue Bridge on Canning Road and all throughout that area as well, they are all up and going with Bell Fiber as well. So, yeah.
So the next item on the agenda would be,
Sorry, the one I can't open, business Milestone. I didn't print it. I couldn't open mine. It says oh, Becky can speak. Becky can speak to it. Thanks, Becky.
thank you, sir. So in September 2024, we introduced a business milestone program that was created so that council could have a formal way of attending events such as grand openings, re-grand openings, business anniversaries, special events that were business related. So if a business was holding a non-for-profit concert, things like that, just putting some guidelines in for council. We also created basically a very simple 5-6 question portal questionnaire online so people could let council know. So this report just provides a summary of that, and just a background on the milestone. The reason we brought it forward today is we find out about events after they take place. So we're just kind of wondering about how we get better involved with knowing about them ahead of time. So many of the anniversary events, I'm sending Mr. Mayor out afterwards with a certificate. since we've introduced the event, I believe I put in here, so we found out about 13 milestone events after they happened, but only 5 were notified ahead of time. So just wondering if anybody on the committee has any thoughts about how we get word out to the businesses that council will happily attend, or how we find out about them prior to the actual happenings.
Alan.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a mystery. So if a business is opening or they're gonna have a milestone, they seem to reach out to different people. They could reach out to their MP, MPP, or the township or the chamber. It would be nice to have I don't know how we do it, but to figure out how we're all put on notice that a business is opening or a milestone, so we can all attend and support that business, and that everybody is getting that. So I think it's a matter of reaching out to our MP, MPP, and maybe a press release about that for businesses that contact the township, or they'll invite everybody. And then same thing with the chamber, because we've been looking at that very seriously, because we get invited to our members events, but sometimes there's a business opening and all of a sudden you're looking live on Facebook, seeing it's there and nobody invited you.
So right now we do have boxes that you can click if you'd like the MP, the MPP to attend. We've been running social media ads. So Segbay runs an ad for us every month about it on their social media and on their newsletter. We run at least once a month. We're doing our social media posts. We've just found that we don't get the pickup, and we're a bit complex. We don't know what else we can really do. We did run a news article when it first launched. We're just wondering if anybody else, Alan's idea, if we can connect. The municipalities where I've run a similar program in the past did have issues like this also, but I do know that a lot of the time, a lot of businesses want council to come out, and it's a bit different here.
Oh, I can only speak from experience that, any event, from a business standpoint, that you're having, any sort of milestone that you're celebrating, it makes perfect business sense to notify as many levels of government as possible, and do your press release and everything else. I'm actually quite confused as to why businesses would not want to contact as many parties as possible to celebrate these milestones with them. So,
Becky.
So we as part of the program, as stated in the staff report, we also provide a free news advisory out to the public saying like, hey, our council is going to be at this event, please come out. And then afterwards, if they send us a picture, or if we go to the event and the mayor gets a picture, we will post it on our social media. So again, more promotion. So for example, the mayor went out to celebrate a 15th anniversary of a business on Sunday, and Councillor Taylor went with him, and then Councillor Taylor sent that picture to us and said, hey, we attended this event, can you post it up on the Facebook? And we had it up the next morning. So we are happy to promote that. That's really the only way that we can promote a business due to government regulations. We can't actually like promote certain events. We have to have a municipal tie to it. So that's one way that we were thinking. It's a great way for us to actually promote businesses, and we haven't had the turnout that we would, and we find out weeks or months afterwards about them.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I'm not sure why.
could you include it in your social media, and you're possibly an e-blast to just say celebrating a milestone ? Make sure that you contact us, make sure that you notify us, because if they're in tune with social media, or they're reading your e-blasts, which I always do, by the way.
Straight.
Yeah. So at least that way you could, at least pose the question to them or get the information out there that we want to come to these events. We want to celebrate your milestone with you. You just have to notify us.
Alan?
Just wondering, are you allowed to, under the municipal regulations, to announce that you will be there? Because these posts are after the fact, so it's hard to get out there once you see it.
So through, that would be how we do, like, we can do a news advisory ahead of time. So that's how we would get the news out. And so our advisories would go up on our notice page, such and similar as when we announce a road closure for an emergency. So it just goes up in the exact same thing. It gets shot out to all of our subscribers. So we have, I believe we're over 1,500 subscribers that are automatically on the, plus then, the thousands of people we have on Facebook. We also then create a post for Facebook.
Nice. Heather, you missed that was the 15th at River House. It was packed. Free food. It was it was a Santa Claus parade. You couldn't even get in the door.
I was planning on having something in. I wanted to do a BIA, and then I saw BIA was in there, so somebody posted something.
Susie, and I don't know who was with her. She had BIA Coldwater. Are you going to give us an update at some point about the BIA? Would you like to, is that now, Becky, or later?
I'll do a motion to accept that staff report. So the motion would be that administrative report number A25-036 dated November 20th, 2004 regarding the business milestone program be received.
Mover and a seconder, please. Alan and Jason, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Okay, Heather, if you'd like to give us and tell us about the tree lighting that I didn't know about. That's happening this Friday, I think.
The tree lighting on Saturday starts between 5 and 8. And it really is, it's called Bright Lights and Holiday Delights. And it's on the radio. I am in charge of advertising, so that's one of the radio ads that I had to put out. And there's going to be live music, which is the Bombshell group, the same group as what they have at Witches Walk, and it is absolutely one of the best bands out there. They're amazing. And they're going to be right beside Royal LePage. They plug in to Royal LePage. There's no power in the town for anybody to plug in, so that's where they plug in. There's a scavenger hunt for the kids. It's called Build a Snowman, and all of the windows have pieces of the snowman for the kids to find in the town, and it's every business that has one. And there's a toy drive. That was just added. I didn't know there was a toy drive till Tuesday night. Christmas market with the local artisans, unique gifts. That's at the mill. And then there's also all the businesses are open with specials on.
Are there any vendors for food?
I believe the Lions, I believe Kim.
The Lions will be providing popcorn and hot chocolate, and there will be a vendor there selling, I believe, apple cider.
Yeah. And then the tree lighting is at 7 p.m. Sure. And it's supposed to be beautiful.
The tree is actually magnificent.
Well, the weather.
I know that Aurelia raved about, sorry, Alan, about their tree before it had to come down, but the tree in Coldwater, I don't know who planted it, but it's absolutely gorgeous and right dead center.
It's owned by Colin Bidmead, and I believe he put all the lights up. I believe they're still decorating some right now, but I know that those lights have been up for a while.
Great community, and when Santa Claus parade, of course, it's at night, as you know, and like some years I've seen it 4 to 5 deep, like probably a couple thousand people. It was pretty amazing. Like they come from Oromadonte, they come from Tay, they come from Aurelia, they come from Washago, like.
I believe the Santa Claus Parade is the Lions Club that does all that. So the BIA is in charge of that. So that's why we do the tree lighting. The BIA does the tree lighting with the scavenger hunt. I'd prefer to have the scavenger hunt on the night of the Santa Claus Parade. That's what they used to do. We may do that in the future, but because it's all Royal LePage has always handed out cookies and we get 300. Last year we gave out 100. And if there was a scavenger hunt on the day of the Santa Claus Parade, they'd be gone. Like, no problem. Because like you said, there's so many kids. It's one of the biggest parades.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. First time I couldn't believe it. And nighttime is amazing. I know it really has theirs during the day, right?
No.
Oh, is it at night now?
No,
Tonight. Yeah, the nighttime parades are amazing. The one in Washago as well that we have, it's amazing as well. It gives something like most time in the winter, there's not much you can do, right? You sit at home, watch TV, but the night's nice and it's amazing how many people come out to attend. And then all the people that have floats that take the time to decorate, right?
Yeah, well, we run the chamber, Aurelia District Chamber of Commerce runs the Aurelia Santa Claus Parade. It is the oldest and largest parade north of Toronto.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of all the volunteers that make this happen, right? Like it's pretty amazing. Like people take time and they're like they're so well done. Some of the floats are amazing. I know that our David was involved with KRS Crane and the floats, like the stuff that David he's a Christmas guru when you think about the stuff that and he was coming to Washago as well. Pretty amazing.
Sorry.
Cut you off.
That's all right. The only update that I wanted to talk about was that they voted in September at the AGM that we have one contact person as a coordinator to assist the BIA board for limited hours per month. So that it's a contract person. It's not an employee. They're hiring somebody to do this job because it's a lot of work for just 5 BIA members. So, and if one person doesn't show up, much like today, then if you don't have enough, then you don't have a meeting. So they voted also for 3 more chairs and we got a bigger budget approved by the township. And there's a big parking issue in Coldwater that you need to know, everybody should know about. There's not enough parking for all these events. And that was one of the biggest things that I decided to make this map of Coldwater with my graphic designer and just because it's handy to have a map, period. But I'm looking into ways of making this work so that we can have better parking. Because a lot of, as Becky mentioned, there is lots of places to park on streets. They just don't know how to get there. Or they're not paying attention.
No, Heather, that's the same old story. It doesn't matter what happens, right? Not only Seven, but right anywhere in any municipality, parking is a problem. You know, there wasn't enough thought given years ago as municipalities grow, like what do you do with cars, right? Where do you put them? And people don't want to walk. They don't want to park so far away that they have to walk. But yeah, it's an age-old problem that we face every day.
So the fair this year somehow coordinated buses from Moonstone into the fair. I don't know what the final count is for the fair, but the fair is what started this whole parking issue last year because it was such an increase in people. Average fare for Coldwater was approximately 5,000 people a weekend, and 2024 was 16,000. It was insane. And same for all these events, like Witches Walk was like, we handed out 4,000 passports. And that's not including people that don't take a passport.
It's amazing that Village of Cole, what it attracts. It's pretty amazing. They do a great job. But you know, I think part of the problem is our arena there as well. So now that at that time of year, we have
They've coordinated
hockey,
it.
right? So it's difficult
They've
that we do have
coordinated well.
a large parking spot. But I think part of our new master transportation event that we have for the fairgrounds,
Yes,
I think there's going to be some parking there.
that'll be handy.
Yeah, we're
That'll be
hoping
good.
anyways.
Yeah. I'm completed.
Well, thank you very much for everything that you do, and you can take that back to the BIA. You do a great job. Thank you. Anybody else have any comments? Becky?
Or does anyone have any other announcements they'd like to share or other new business items?
Yeah, just wanted to put it on there to circulate, giving some mindful thought towards this announcement of the Ring of Fire. And for economic development to look at what are some of the easy things that maybe could be doing to try to attract some additional business, such as temporary storage of critical minerals as they come from out of the mines, right? And to be ready for marketplace because the US is so close by. And same with the fact that there's land. In Canada, we have access to land. It's cold. So data storage or cloud computing. Now, there's only security jobs. The main jobs are security in this, but it definitely can increase the tax base and help in the future. So just putting that on the radar of how do you attract those two businesses to Severn Township?
So the Ring of Fire, Alan, like I know the McGuinty government tried, the Wynne government tried, and I wonder how successful the Ford government's going to be. Like, do you have any insight?
Yeah, they just actually worked out a deal with Wabaquay First Nation, and so they are going to start building the road there. That's the other main obstacle to come out of there. But there are so many critical minerals in the Ring of Fire, including gold. There's going to be a boom for us. So I was at the Ontario Economic Development Conference, and they had Premier Ford was talking about how many jobs are going to result out of the Ring of Fire. So we're in between the United States. Of course, they can go through Sault Ste. Marie, but we're in between. So if we have an effective strategy to say, hey, here's the land inventory, that I think maybe that's something worth hitting the mining companies for. Just because of that storage, hydro located in Aurelia, where they're interim storage. So you think about what does it mean to have a inventory of critical minerals in a depot so that they can get them to market faster.
Becky, we can't talk about what business may be coming to Coldwater, can we? Because we haven't heard anything. Remember, we got to keep our mouth shut. All right. All right. That's just interesting what Alan has said. And we do have a railway line that does come through Coldwater, but hopefully soon, hopefully in the new year, we hear more about it. Then we can bring it back. Short-term rentals, can I just ask Jason what your thoughts are about short-term rentals? Because there is a problem back at Peninsula Point. Just your thoughts and how that affects your business.
So as far as competition to what we offer, I don't really think that they're really moving the needle in terms of competing with our business. Our model is quite different in terms of the offerings that we have. It's not just sort of lakeside accommodation. It's lakeside accommodation. It's that all-inclusive piece. We offer entertainment and activities and programs and supervised children's programs and a whole different model of what you're getting with the sort of Airbnb/VRBO type of experience. So my concern with that industry is the lack of a regulatory body, and businesses such as any sort of hotel or resort or any sort of tourist operator, we comply. We comply with fire regulations. We comply with health and safety. We comply with TSSA. You name it. There's tons of regulatory boards that we have to comply with to provide our customers with a safe environment and a safe stay at our property. And these types of Airbnbs, VRBO, short-term rentals do not have the same type of compliance as a business such as ours. So that is my main concern. Now, obviously, people can make their choices as to where they want to stay and what they want to do. But as far if they're going to be competing with hotels and resorts and other businesses in the tourism industry, then they should have to comply with certain regulations in order to provide their customers with that same type of safe environment. So that's my biggest concern with it.
So the ones that are back, we had a meeting yesterday
Mhm.
and like the other side of it is they're spending dollars in our community, right? Whether they're going to the casino. Do you know of anyone that's coming to Bayview for dinner? Do they use the lodge at all, or do they know about it?
Possibly. Not really that I'm aware of. I completely understand that standpoint. They are bringing more tourists to the area. They're bringing new customers, new money here to our area, which is great. However, due to the lack of rules and regulations surrounding these short-term rentals, they're also causing a lot of concerns for the residents in certain areas, and that just has to do with occupancy levels, and it has to do with the price point and what they're offering, and the targeting of certain people, certain customers that are not going to be, when they're coming up to these places, they're coming up to either have a party, or not be concerned about the neighbors, or not be concerned about and not respecting. And that's the biggest piece. They're not respecting other people's property and other people's sort of enjoyment of the lake and of their residents. That is the concern, I think, from that standpoint. So even if you had like an occupancy limitation to some of these places, I think you would really be able to sort of stop some of the problems that are happening, specifically in Peninsula Boy Road.
Thank you. We did have Airbnb also weigh in on it, because I did ask the question, do you realize when you're listing these out that most communities are rural and they're on a septic? Of course, he doesn't know what a septic is, right? So there are things that hopefully we'll be able to do to regulate them, because you're absolutely right.
And that's just it, right? Like that's we are under the advisement of the Ministry of Environment, and there are a tremendous amount of dollars that are being spent right now by my company in order to comply with new regulations. You know that my property is well over 100 years old. Well, so is a lot of that infrastructure. So we are having to spend quite a bit of money in order to update and comply with the newer regulations, and to bring everything up to date. So when you have these types of places, there's no regulatory body, there's no compliance. So you don't really know what type of damage they could be doing to their own septic system, but also there's a concern of possibly harm to the body of water surrounding it, right? So
We're well aware of that, though. And anyways,
yeah.
Anyone else have any comments?
I agree with you, Jason, about the music, that because it blasts across the way from me. And I actually was listening to a TV show not long ago. And it was a group of women speaking, and the one girl really wasn't educated when she was speaking about it, but it would be to pay attention to like I wrote in and said, she says, I paid $2,000 whatever per day. I want to play my music as loud as I want, and this is the way it is. And it's a community. You're not supposed to do that. It echoes across the lake. It doesn't echo the same. Anyways.
And so just to sort of piggyback on that, I think that's another issue that you're having here is that, I'm not going to disrespect my neighbors on the lake. I'm going to ensure that our property is adhering to any sort of noise rules, or existing or non-existing. But it comes down to respecting your neighbors, right? And so we're going to ensure that our property is doing that with places like Sparrow Lake Camp and with other surrounding properties. So they're not having that same type of awareness of that fact, because as we said here, that they're just paying their $2,000 a night, and they should be able to do what they want. They're not going to be back again in the future, maybe not, but it is no concern of theirs, where the residences are there all the time. So you're having to you want to have a level of respect for the people that are surrounding you, and that doesn't exist with these short-term rentals, unfortunately.
Alan.
Yeah, the other concern just is the amount of municipal tax that they're required to pay, that there is no regulation on that. So you having a business have to pay a lot of commercial taxes. So it provides opportunity for investment companies to, basically fly under the radar, right? And then if you look at the cost of policing, right? They're getting called on, right? And a lot of times it's somebody that is not even from the area that's renting them out. They get somebody to clean the place. I know in some of the jurisdictions, they have two different rates for Airbnbs. And some people have put a requirement that if you're not located there, so you look at somebody who has a house and they've got a side cabin and they rent it out to a nice couple. Well, that really helps the tourism, right? And those people don't want to stay in a hotel. They want to just stay in a nice property, and that's perfect. But when they're not there, there should be a requirement to have a sign to call the people. Otherwise, they should have to pick up the cost of the policing. It's not fair to the taxpayers when this happens. I know somebody owns a home in Oro-Medonte beside one of these party houses, and has said they can't enjoy their property. They can't sit and enjoy their property because every weekend it's a new group of problem that show up, and those people aren't going to respect it. Now in the hotel, if somebody is loud, what happens? They're getting kicked out. So you need to have rules for it.
Thank you. Any other business? Becky?
Okay.
Have a motion to
Can I have a motion that the motion would be that the meeting be and is hereby now adjourned at 8:48.
move in a seconder, please. Alan and Jason, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much, everyone. See you on